Okay, so as you know, I'm Stefan Hoffman, Senior International Regional Manager for the Subcontinent for Education Centre of Australia. Thank you very much for coming online. I do appreciate your presence. And look, we're all going through tough times, I believe, in Nepal at the moment, where there's been some positive developments. We're going through a few positive changes as well here. As usual, we do have a bit of housekeeping here. The session will commence on the hour, more or less. It is being recorded, so hopefully you've got lots of questions and that kind of stuff so we can answer them accordingly. You have been muted to avoid background noise. We do have a Q&A section, and please use the Q&A section if you've got any questions coming up. We do have a number of exciting developments coming up. If you experience any audio-visual difficulties, please use the chat function to let me know. And I have set up this Zoom session for you to receive an email about any feedback questions which you may have, or questions that you've forgotten about during this process. Just reinforcing, Education Centre of Australia is a large group of education providers. Typically for the Nepalese community, we do cater for predominantly the higher education line. So the top one with the red bits on there. Asia Pacific International College, Higher Education Leadership Institute, Victoria University, and Swinburne University. Well, the exciting development which I'm going to talk about is HELI. So that'll be a big update for you as well. ELSIS is a really good deal for offshore students at the moment. And then we go all the way through to professional year and internships. Internships, really, really important for international students these days. It is incredibly competitive for international students at this particular point in the professional areas. And also the latest acquisition down in the bottom right-hand corner, IT Masters, which is an online postgraduate programs, short courses, those kind of things, in conjunction with Charles Sturt University, predominantly in the IT space. So check that one out. Just reinforcing as well, we have been very active and agile as a education group. We have announced a $5 million COVID student relief package. And that's through a variety of different forms. That is for onshore students, offshore students. Situations very different. And I think one thing that I'm particularly proud of as an individual is being involved in a group such as Education Centre of Australia, which has been incredibly agile in terms of responding to students' needs. And what the needs were at the beginning of the lockdown are a little bit different to what they are now, but things have emerged. Lots of questions have been answered. Still questions that are coming on board as well. So we do have the VU COVID Student Support Fund. We do have scholarships for new students of up to 25%. We do have a Swinburne Student Emergency Fund as well, and 30% scholarships available at Swinburne University here in Sydney. APIC scholarship offers that we've got, Back to the Future pricing, which I'll go through a little bit later. ECA College, there's a few interesting things there. And then also ELSIS, $180 a week. Don't worry about that. I can go better than $180 per week. ELSIS. So one thing that the feedback that we've been having, and I've got Saurav on the ground in Kathmandu, is look, the no objection certificate issue is a pretty big issue. So it is preventing students from enrolling and committing to particular programs and particular providers. In order to address that no objection certificate issue, we have launched a 100% scholarship for English for academic purposes for at least in the short term when while the lockdown is actually happening and before the no objection certificate issue is resolved. I did see some positive stuff in relation to the no objection certificate from the president of ECAN yesterday, posting that he had a discussion with the ministry and they indicated that once the international flights start, they'll look at, or your government will look at expanding that or giving no objection certificate authority. But why EAP? It's a good opportunity for students. It exposes them to international education in Australia before they actually leave their home country. But education, English for academic purposes is more than that. Where it is important is basically students learn skills which they'll need in their higher education programs. How to reference, how not to plagiarize, what's the difference between a report and an essay, how to give a presentation, that kind of thing. Well, a couple of the key questions that have been asked by agents along the way, which I've presented this to, is this a cutback version of EAP? Absolutely not. It is a 12-week program. It is complementary. A couple of the conditions there, obviously the student needs to be wanting to apply for programs within the ECA group. So whether it's VU, whether it's Swinburne, whether it's APIC, HELI, or what's the other one? ECA College. So obviously the student needs to be interested in our programs. They also need to be more or less qualified for those particular programs as well. Within the apply.eca.edu.au platform, which you all should have access to the portal in there, there is a new campus. That campus is an offshore campus. That is basically the online English for academic purposes program for students. I do encourage you to use this opportunity to build your pipeline of students. We do realize that at the moment, yeah, we're waiting for the no objection certificate and those kind of things, but it is a very good opportunity for you to deliver, to develop your pipeline of students moving forward for yourself, but also for the ECA group. The next intake for that is the 22nd of June, Monday. So you've got a couple of days to get applications in there as well. Might just pause here for a second, and what I might do, I'm just putting up a poll now. So probably be able to see on your screen, I have put up a poll. And if you can just click through, and I'll leave this for about a minute so you can vote accordingly. What is your students' intention at this time? Wait until the borders open commence limited number of units online in Nepal, or take up the free EAP offer at ELSIS. So we're coming up to a minute. We've had 2 people vote. We've got another 8 people online that haven't voted. So not sure if you're playing solitaire in the background or what you're doing, but if you could please take the time to vote on this particular one. That does provide a good level of market intelligence for myself, which I'll take back to the team later on. So the 8 people that haven't voted, if you can kindly do the needful, that would be awesome. Okay, we got another 9 people who haven't voted, so got an 18% vote rate. If you could just click through one of the 3 options which you see on your screen. Okay, I'll just give that another 30 seconds or so, and then we'll continue on to the new and exciting part of the Education Centre of Australia group. It's going to dip away because it's getting dark here in Sydney. We're in winter time and it's raining at the moment, so I've just had to turn on the light as well. Okay, another 6 people are still asleep. What I'll do is I'll open up that poll later on as well. Okay, thank you very much. So just going to share the results there, and look, everyone's consistent with that feedback. So I do encourage you to take up the free EAP offer if that's what the students wish to do. A good opportunity at this particular point, given that it's free and it can be used as a positive to for students to solidify their GTE, also for them to become a little bit brand clingy, I guess, to ECA and the groups within the brand. So Higher Education Learning Institute. We're launching this, and we've launched it as of pretty much yesterday. So it's in Melbourne to start off with, and Higher Education Leadership Institute, what we're actually offering here is online blended learning. I guess one thing that we've learned out of this coronavirus situation is that e-learning will become more common, both here in Australia and over in Nepal and other areas, particularly in the subcontinent. I think there's a very good opportunity. Okay, I'm back. I'm not sure what happened there, but anyway, I have stopped sharing the screen by the looks of it. Okay, you should be able to see the front 4 So the top 4 units there, basically that's the graduate certificate, the ones with the number 8 after HEP. What is a Masters of E-Learning? So there's a couple of different opportunities here for students. It can be an upgrade for academics who are currently teaching within the higher education space to learn about e-learning. But it's also an opportunity for students from other areas as well to learn about e-learning systems and how to learn, develop e-learning curriculum. One thing that we noticed as well, and one of the big adjustments during the corona virus period, is a lot of the academics had to rewrite their course content, because obviously class activities function a little bit different when everything is online. So it's all about engagement and collaboration and those kind of things. E-learning will certainly be a way of the future, and I see it as an industry which will emerge quite heavily in Nepal over the coming couple of years. I've already noticed a couple of providers within Nepal who are actually starting there. So what will the students learn? So it's all about integrated learning and teaching theory. So there's a lot of theory behind the way that adults learn and those kind of things. Also, innovative solutions. So there's a number of different solutions available and different types of e-learning. And one of the other ones which I mentioned earlier was IT Masters. That's basically online short courses. So it's not only about teaching within a university setting or a higher education provider setting, it can also be the online short courses or within a training organization or being a training manager within an organization. So it is pretty exciting. How to use diverse, effective communication effectively. So obviously, with this particular one, this is, I guess, in a particular sense, this webinar itself is an e-learning platform. I've got my camera up there. I'm using the mic. I've got all the technology set up, 2 different screens, all that kind of stuff. How to effectively communicating within this setting. Reflect on personal and practitioner performance. Funny thing happened yesterday. I'm not sure what happened with my computer settings, but I was giving the same presentation into Bangladesh yesterday and my computer stopped. Pretty embarrassing in the middle of a webinar, but anyway, I had to call that one off early because I just couldn't fix the computer in a reasonable period of time. And when you're giving training sessions and webinars and those kind of things, you're pretty aware of whether things have gone good or bad or different, what you'd change up. I've started using those polls as well, so I'm learning a little bit from what I've been learning through the IT Masters platform as well. Critically review learning and teaching theory and practice. So all that review. Now we'll go through the all-important admission criteria. So basically what we're looking for here for HELI is for entry into the Masters of e-learning, you need to provide a student with a bachelor's degree or equivalent or higher in any discipline. So it is quite flexible. And it's basically the similar scenario to the scenario to project management as well at APIC. So it's a very provides students with a very diverse entry point there. Better than some education degrees, the IELTS requirement, IELTS 6.5, no band lower than 6. Typically within the education space, it's 7 sevens overall. There's 4 intakes per year, but the next intake is on the 20th of July. Location is Melbourne. However, we are geared up to deliver this course online, given that it is a course about basically online learning. All important scholarships. So we do have a 25% scholarship, which is available for 2020 intakes. Basically, the fees go from $36,000 for the 2-year program down to $27,000 for the 2-year program. It's available for onshore and offshore students. A big part of this particular program as well is you'll be receiving an email over the next couple of weeks from my colleague, Alina, for an agency agreement for this particular provider. However, at the moment, you'll be able to log online with the following web address there, meshhe.com.au, and you'll be able to use your existing logins and passwords into this particular program. I'm just going to pause here for a second because this is a new program. I'm just wondering if anyone's got any questions about the Higher Education Leadership Institute. So if you can just flick through on the Q&A panel if you've got any questions. Okay, no questions. So moving right along. We'll move to Victoria University, top 2% of universities worldwide in the 2019 rankings. So very proud of that achievement. Just reinforcing as well that there are up to $700 in student hardship funds for the COVID assistance package. The student does need to apply separately there. And just reinforcing as well that we do have scholarships available for students, Diploma of Business Enterprise and Diploma of Information Systems, 20% scholarship down to $7,936 now, down from $9,920. Bachelor of Accounting and Bachelor of Business Information Systems, it's got a 25% scholarship, $8,250 per semester. Bachelor of IT, 20% scholarship, $8,800 per semester. So that's and the questions that commonly come up is, Stefan, are you delaying intakes? Nope, we're adding additional intakes for the undergraduate program. As a positive news story out of the coronavirus situation, what actually happened in the undergraduate space is that students came to the orientation, and the next week when the classes were started, we moved into lockdown. Very sad. And big shout out to the academic staff at VU Sydney who have done a fabulous job of implementing the block model in that March intake. What was amazing was we moved to the biggest transition in our teaching style since forever. And the results actually increased, even though the delivery was online. So we moved to the block model, went from 85% roughly pass rate to mid-90s. So that's pretty exciting, very good outcomes for the current students at VU. Moving right along, Masters of Applied IT and Masters of Business Enterprise Resource Planning Systems. We do have a scholarship there as well of 20%, $9,840 per semester. We also have a Master of Business in Accounting, which is $12,300 per semester, 25% scholarship, 9,225. So the next intake available for the undergraduate and the higher education diplomas is in September this year, and followed by November. Then we also have, then we move into the 2021 cycle. We do have July and November, so the traditional intakes of postgraduate programs there. We do also have Swinburne University in Sydney. There's also a Swinburne Student Emergency Fund here of up to $1,000. Similar to VU, the student actually needs to apply for it and submit a 500-word statement of the type of emergency, how it's impacted the studies, and the anticipated duration. Just reinforcing that we do have 30% scholarships available at Swinburne as well. 18,740 for Masters of Construction and Infrastructure Management, down to 13,118. We do also have the Masters of IT, non-cognitive background, so that's 4 units per semester, 17,380, down to 12,166. We do have the Masters of IT Professional Computing, so the students with the computer science background within that bachelor's stream, 13,035 for 3 units, down, take off 30%, 9,124.50 for the 3 units. APIC, yes, we are accepting students for APIC. We've finally got seats. Very exciting. And I think this particular program here, Bachelor of Business and Bachelor of Business Information Systems, $6,000 per semester, which is really, really exciting. Kind of prices that you would have seen back in probably 2017, maybe 16. Also got the Masters of Business and Project Management at APIC. This is 2019 pricing, which we reverted back to, 33,627. First semester, 6,672. The reason why it's different is there's a full, 2 full subjects in there and what we call a half unit. It's cheaper to run because it's a professional development program. That's why the fee that's why that first semester is a little bit different. We do have also ECA College. So we've got the Graduate Diploma of Management in Learning. This is available in Sydney and Melbourne. Intakes, we got August, October and November, and 8 core, 6 electives. Fees $16,000, but we're offering a $4,000 scholarship there, so $12,000. We can use this as a pathway between ECA College and a Masters at APIC, so the student basically enters the 2nd year of the Masters program. The Graduate Diploma of Engineering, very, very similar. Similar intakes, slightly more units, also available in Sydney and Melbourne. $20,000 usually, $2,000 scholarship there, so $18,000 for the year. Similarly, it can be used as a pathway to 2nd year at APIC. Okay. So, what do we have here? Just reinforcing that we have been very active. We have been very active. We have been very agile in meeting students' needs. That goes beyond just the regular financial stuff. The student services team at both at all of our campuses have been very active in student support. There's been food hamper give outs at VU. There's also other things that have been happening in VU as in other campuses as well. I've just clicked the wrong way. Just reinforcing as well that we do have ELSIS. I do note that you, on the poll, you were mentioning that all your students would be looking at waiting until the borders open, but we do have an alternative. The students can start now with EAP and boost their GTE profile, boost their English skills and all those kind of things as well, while they're waiting for the borders to open. YECA, for students, we've got very popular courses with very good outcomes for students. We do have free workshops to assist students in casual employment, in-demand courses, so MYOB, what's the other one? Zero, free internships, so students have access to the internship department regardless of where they are from, which brand they're studying in. Open door policy to assist students and student services, social activities and professional development. So one of the key things here as well is that the student services, one of the big things that we're going through at the moment, and the same thing is happening in Nepal, is there is very much an adjustment for everything. So on campus, we're basically redesigning the layouts and that kind of stuff just to make sure that everything is COVID safe and compliant and those kind of things. No, so we're pretty straightforward. No change of agent policy, so we're pretty secure there. Robust refund and release policy. Dedicated account manager. Likely your account manager is Saurav, but I may be the account manager for a few of you. Ease of doing business with ECAs, so just let us know what you need, basically. Regular webinars and FAM trips to Australia. FAM trips, obviously, it's waiting for the border to open on this side. So what do you guys need? If you could, that kind of draws kind of to the end of this webinar. Can you just let me know in the Q&A any questions that you may have for what has been discussed here today? No questions at all. Wow. I'm just double checking the chat to make sure everyone can see me and hear clearly. Any questions at all? Okay, so if there's no questions, what I'll do is I'll leave the session here. And look, essentially what will happen from here is that you'll get a message from the Zoom session asking if you've got any other questions. So yeah, no problem. So thank you very much, Dhanyabad, for tuning in, and we'll reconvene this time next month. Thank you. Bye-bye.